Hello, today we're looking at perimeter 3.7b, and we're going to be looking at 4 different ways that we can work with perimeter. Now, remember, perimeter is the distance around a figure, and we find perimeter by adding all the side lengths, by finding the sum of the side lengths. You can estimate and measure perimeter in standard units, just like inches and centimeters, and there's 4 different ways. The first way is using grid paper. So grid paper can come in centimeter size and come in inches. So here's an example of that. And in a minute, we're going to go through each example, each of the 4 ways, and do one example of each. The second way is to use drawings to find perimeter. And so these are typically polygons, squares, or rectangles, or hexagons, or even just irregular polygons, just like these. A third way is they give you a figure and you have to use a ruler to find the side lengths and then find the perimeter by adding those. And the fourth way is finding unknown side lengths when given the total perimeter. So those are the 4 different ways that you'll encounter perimeter in 3rd grade. So now let's go ahead and do an example of each. So remember, when we're working with perimeter, it's always good, it's always best to use a part-whole model, because that really helps you see what your numbers are, and it helps you see how to find the total perimeter or to find the missing side lengths if that's what they're asking for. Now the first one, they're using grid paper and they want you to find the perimeter. Now remember, perimeter is the distance around a figure. It's not the inside, that would be area. So it's around it. So it's here, 1, 2, 3, that's 3. And if this is 3, this also must be 3 because this is a rectangle. And in a rectangle, the opposite sides are congruent to each other. So then now let's sign the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have all the side lengths. Now we have to find the total perimeter by adding those side lengths. And as I said, let's use a part-whole just so you can see how that works together. So we have we're going to have 4 parts in a part-whole because there's 4 sides. We have 5, 5, 3, and 3. And they want you to find the perimeter. So if you add all those together, 5 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3, that gives you 16. And my unit is meters, because if you notice it says each square is 1 meter. So my total perimeter is 16 meters for that first one. Okay, let's go to the second example of using drawings. Use drawings to find the perimeter. So let's do this first one. And it's like the grid paper, but this time they give you the measurements. With the grid paper, you had to find the measurements. And if you notice, this is not a rectangle. And how do we know that? Because the opposite sides are not congruent to each other. So this is just called an irregular polygon. The side lengths are different from each other. Okay, we don't know the whole again. And how many sides do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we know that there's 8, 7, 4, and 4. So now we're just going to add that together. 8 plus 7 plus 4 plus 4, and that will give us 23. 23 inches. Our unit is inches, it says right there. So that is how you find perimeter. You add all the side lengths together. Okay, let's look at the third example. Okay, this one, it says use an inch or centimeter ruler to find the perimeter. But this question tells me to use a centimeter ruler. So that's what we're going to use specifically. It says centimeter ruler right there. So we're going to go ahead and use our reference material chart. And we're going to make sure we're using the side that says centimeters. Because in your chart, you have 2 sides. One side says inches, and the other side says centimeters. So we're going to have to make sure we use centimeters because that's what it says to use, a centimeter ruler. Now, a lot of times you'll have to round it to the nearest centimeter or inch if you're using an inch ruler. in this case, we're using centimeters. You will have to round sometimes, and I think we will have to round with this particular example. So make sure you line it up with 0. And a lot of people, they fold this side over or cut it, so it's easier to line it up. So it's up to you, whatever's easier for you. And if this is right here, it's a little bit before the 6, but we're gonna round it. So that to the nearest centimeter, that would be 6 centimeters. And I'm pretty sure the bottom is also 6 centimeters. Yep, 6 centimeters. Okay, now let's look at the other 2 sides. I'm sure they're congruent to each other. That's about, it's a little bit past the 4 or the 5. Let's take a closer look. Yeah, it has, let me see, it's right on the 4.5. So actually we're gonna round that up to 5. If it's on the half, you have to round it up to the 5. So that'll be 5 centimeters here. And 5 centimeters there. Okay. So there's that. Add the side length of the sides. So again, if you wanted to use your part whole, that would be pretty simple to put in your chart. You're asking for the whole, and we found each of the side lengths. 6, 6, 5, and 5. So now you would just add 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5. And that's what you would put also on there. It says add the lengths of the side. 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5. And that would give me 22. So the perimeter is 22 centimeters. Okay. Our last example is to find the unknown side lengths. And this is when it really, find the unknown side lengths when given the total perimeter. And this is when part whole really helps you a lot. So it's very good practice to get accustomed to whenever you have perimeter to always use your part whole. It says find the unknown side lengths. Unknown means that we don't know it. If you notice, we know this as 4, 10 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 10 centimeters, but we don't know G. That's the question mark. That's the part we're missing. And we know the whole. It gives you the whole. So let's do our part whole. Our whole is 33 centimeters. And our parts, we know one is 4. We know one is 10. We know one is 6, 10, and question mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to make sure we have the same amount of parts. We know 4 of them. We don't know 1 of them. Okay. Now we add those together. We add what we have together. So we're going to add 4 plus 10 plus 6 plus 10. And that gives me 30. Because 10 plus 10 is 20. 20 plus 6 is 26. 26 plus 4 is 30. Now, that's not my answer, is it? I know that this part together is 30. To find the missing part, we have to subtract 33 minus 30. 33 minus 30. And that gives me 3. So G equals 3 centimeters. This missing piece is 3. And if I wanted to check that, you would just plug in 3, put 3 in the missing part, and add them up together. This here was 30. 30 plus 3 is 33. So that is correct. Remember, in the part whole, all the parts must equal the whole. So once you think you found your part, plug it in and check your work. All right, those are the 4 ways that you'll see perimeter in 3rd grade. I hope that helped, and we will see you next time.